Prairie Mosaic is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, the North Dakota Council on the Arts, and by the members of Prairie Public.
Welcome to Prairie Mosaic, a patchwork of stories about the arts, culture, and history in our region.
Hi, I'm Bob Dambeck.
And I'm Barb Gravel. On this edition, we'll visit a breathtaking state park, learn about an interesting technique in painting, and enjoy the sounds of a local guitarist. Nestled just outside of Grand Rapids, Minnesota, the Forest History Center offers a fascinating look into Minnesota's lumber industry over the past 150 years. Visitors can see historical reenactments at the old-time logging camp, or even climb a fire tower for a bird's-eye view of the amazing forest around Grand Rapids.
Eldon! Eldon! Buzz, come quick, it's Eldon Marples. He's had a bad accident.
Oh, no, this looks bad. Oh,
Miss Kate, we need your glass to see if he's breathing.
I don't think so.
He twisted more than his ankle.
Oh, I don't have any frost or smoke on there. Oh, no.
I think he's seen his last Christmas.
The Forest History Center, probably our core experience that's best known is what you're seeing today, the greatest logging camp tour in the Northwoods, and we've been putting that on here since 1978. So it's a well-honed program, and in the summertime, people really like to come out here and enjoy that. You learn all about a 1900 logging operation, medium-sized camp that operated much like the other 300 or so did back in 1900 in the Northwoods of Minnesota. And so we tell the story of what life was like in a day in the camp, to be exact, December 15th, 1900. To boot, we also have a great visitor center with interactive exhibits. We have a 100-foot fire tower that you can climb. We have 5 miles of trails that go through the woods and along the Mississippi River. So all kinds of wildlife encounters.
Say the sawyers have the best job in the whole camp because they get paid for the full day. They only work half the day. So while you're pulling, you're going to rest.
Lumbering made Minnesota a great state. It's a big part of Minnesota's story historically, and it's still a big part of the story today. Developing forest products here in Minnesota is still significant. In fact, today, they produce more lumber products in Minnesota than they did in 1900. In the Great Lakes region here, it was winter logging, which is different than other parts of the country. So they laid ice roads and used sleighs, did their work in the wintertime. It's called hard ground logging. We also call it the cut and run logging era. And when I say this, I'm talking about the era here in Minnesota from 1837 to say 1900, before government regulation kicked in, before the Forest Service really got going, both at the federal and state levels. So logging companies could come in and get the right to cut timber on land. They didn't have to worry about environmental issues at all. They could clear cut everything, and they didn't worry about planting new trees or anything about what may happen tomorrow. So they weren't thinking about posterity. They were thinking about making money fast right then and there. So in 1900, they produced 2.3 billion board feet of pine. Today we have many more diverse products that are produced here in Minnesota, and the forests are as productive as ever.
Where are we going to find somebody fool enough to get back up there and...
Oh, don't look at me. I'm not going up there.
Hey, there we go. This young feller looks like he needs a job.
Today, we would think it was a very harsh life. They worked from sun up to sundown. You're here in northern Minnesota where temperatures can reach minus 40 degrees. And these men worked hard. If you were a sawyer, you could plan on making 100 cuts a day, trees that were 3 to 5 feet in diameter, perhaps 120 feet tall. That's a lot of work on a misery whip. They ate great food here, but at the same time, you were sleeping in a bunkhouse with 79 other guys where Lice prevailed, and you didn't get to take a bath every day.
So you want those teeth to be a little bit wider than the base of the saw. So if he puts it on a tooth and it's still rocking, it needs to be filed and resharpened. Needs to keep all those about the same length.
The staff at the Forest History Center is really a unique crew. Mike Adams today, he played Jake. He actually has quite a Teamster background and has worked with horses all of his lives.
Well, first of all, I would like to introduce our hardest working crew in the entire Northland, and that would be Miss Jubilee and Alyssa, the horses.
And used to pack in Montana and other things like that. So they come, most of them, with multiple talents. For instance, one of our fellows is a master green woodworker. He built our sleigh down here. He's rebuilt some of the other equipment we have down here. And at the same time, he also does living history. Some of our other interpreters are master naturalists. So we're doing a lot of new programming now. We're becoming known for not just having the greatest logging camp tour in the Northwoods, but that we also put on a diverse array of other types of programming and collaborate with many other organizations to make that happen. We don't have the talent and the expertise here on our own staff. So when we invite others to use this as a great forest platform to deliver programs, and it's really worked out well. You know, when Lewis and Clark and the Corps of Discovery went across the United States, they came back and reported that resources were inexhaustible. You know, and that wasn't all that many years before 1900. By 1900, they were beginning to realize that resources were indeed exhaustible, and you had to do something about it. You had to become stewards of the land. So things had changed in 100 years in terms of perspective. And since 1900, a lot has changed again. We think much differently about forests now, and have learned a lot more about them, about how to better manage them and take care of them and educate the public about them. And that's what we do here at the Forest History Center.
Fergus Falls native Gregory Fitz has a unique way of producing his art. Fitz uses spray painting to create a combination of painting and graffiti art. Here's a look at his process and his artistic style.
I work fast. Very little of this work has more than minutes involved. I want to work faster. I want to work as immediately as possible, but tend to be with construction grade materials, real modest materials. The paintings are on extruded polystyrene insulation. These paintings are on a foil-faced insulation. The big panels are on simple plywood OSB. I actually knew about the Nemeth because they've been showing great people. And I've had friends and colleagues show work up here. I've kind of admired the program for a while. And it was great to get a phone call. And then I came up this spring and saw the room, and it was just lights out. And for this one, we settled on 3 different series of painting, new iterations of them, and then a singular photo. Yeah, and kind of built around the theme of landscape and natural representation, again in this spot spanning between abstraction and claimed representation. You know, it's amazing to me. I grew up in Fergus, right? And it's been incredible to watch the attention that the arts get and the work these people are doing, both in Fergus and Park Rapids. There's an art center opening in Bemidji, to bring really interesting work out to these locations.
In contrast to our permanent collection of paintings, with some dating back to the 16th century, we exhibit contemporary living artists, mostly non-traditional work. And with help from our exhibition committee, we're able to bring Gregory Fitz to Park Rapids. This is a very unique situation that we have here, because normally you would have to travel to Bemidji or Minneapolis or Fargo to experience contemporary art in this way.
It's great actually to be back in this part of the state, right? I've lived in Minneapolis since 1996. I went there for school, work at Macalester, work in St. Paul. Danielle and I have a house in Minneapolis. But it's pretty fun coming back out to my country, right? And bringing my work with. The last few years I've been mostly working with glazes of acrylic, the sunrises and sunsets, still working with that process. But a few years ago, I don't know, I got keen on spray paint. The paintings are all skewing between representations of claimed natural phenomena, sunrises and sunsets, fleeting natural phenomena, and abstraction. In the Aurora Borealis paintings, spray paint does these beautiful hazy mists on a surface that I can't get with a brush. And so they toy with that interplay between the illusion or representation of how northern light might behave if you witnessed it versus the sort of industrial process that makes that illusion, makes that physical presence of the paint possible. And the new painting, that's more or less the process that I'm drawing on. Something where it is utilitarian and it's a mechanical intervention rather than the intervention of the hand and the brush. Spray painting is great for writing, it makes those gestures. The spray paint, I was first using it just as a way of quickly scribing, writing, and getting those mists. And now I'm using it more to obscure, cover, and write. 400 is in March 2015. This past March, we crossed this threshold of 400 parts per million CO2 in the atmosphere. And this is just an astounding benchmark from a climate change perspective. And as we race towards at least 2 degrees of warming, it just became a fixture for me. Since I'm making work that is essentially landscape-based work, it was a way of starting to insert some language and some content and then covering it up and just stacking up layers. And it's sort of a touchstone. The work I'm interested in, at least now, is work that is very immediate, it's fast, and it's a little noisy and a little cumbersome. It's not virtuosic painting. But that's the sort of work that seems tense to me. And for years what it was is I would look at paintings I was halfway through and I liked them at that stage, but then I would go through this process of finishing it and legitimizing it, and I always missed that earlier, rawer moment. I think with minimalism, if somebody is willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, they can meet you halfway. And that's the risk. Someone can dismiss them. I've had people tell me, they're like, well, what did that take you 10 minutes? I was like, well, 5 really, right? And so it's also a way of kind of wondering aloud about how we use labor to qualify accomplishment. How many hours something took. I'm interested in jazz musicians who are playing a solo, and that solo is happening in real time and in real space, but it represents years of decisions making and years of practice, even though it's happening in the moment. Maybe there's some of that. And then it just comes from personal bias, right? Like, I like reductive, spare, minimalist work. I like John Lee Hooker. I don't listen to Mozart.
It's hard to believe that the rugged beauty of Jay Cooke State Park outside Carlton, Minnesota, was difficult to enjoy until the 1930s, when the young men of the Civilian Conservation Corps created the type of park amenities we all take for granted.
Jay Cooke State Park is just south of Duluth, about 20 minutes. And we are on the St. Louis River within the Northern Highlands Forest. The park began in 1915 with an original donation of land of about 2,200 acres. That was smaller than what we are today. We're at 8,800 acres. When the park was first established in 1915, one of the historic structures here was the old railroad bed from the Lake Superior and Mississippi Railroad. That ran from St. Paul up to Duluth, and so came right through where the park is today. So there was a place then, after that rail was abandoned in the park, for them to just lay a road right across that rail bed. So as people are driving in on Highway 210, a lot of times they are traveling that original rail route. All that would have been here was a road in. And that was it. We didn't have any houses, we didn't have any office buildings or campground. The signs that we have from back then actually say wildlife refuge instead of state park. When the CCC boys would have come, well, the very first project that they tackled was building the swinging bridge. They worked on establishing a picnic grounds for us at Oldenburg Point. And so there they built a bathroom building and an open picnic shelter, as well as some trails for people to walk out on in that area. They worked on some road building, and then in 1939, the second crew of CCC boys came in and they worked on what we call today the River Inn Interpretive Center. When it was built back in 1942, the guys would have just simply referred to it as the refectory, which meant it was a picnic shelter and a place for people to go get food. There was a kitchen here, a dining room counter, and dining tables. So it was the only restaurant of sorts that was built in Minnesota by the CCC. When we look at the history of our state park system, we see a lot of things pop up in the 1930s. We didn't have a lot going on. You know, here in the park, we didn't have buildings. We didn't have a lot of places for people to go. And so to be able to develop these recreational resources and people are still enjoying them all these years later, I think that's part of their legacy. There's a little something for everybody. Jay Cooke State Park has 50 miles of trails, so there's everything from easy trails to extremely difficult ones. So a lot of people like to come for that. If they're out for a 25-mile walk, they can take a 25-mile walk here in the park. I think Grand Portage Trail is probably my favorite trail in the park. It takes you across little stream beds that you have to walk across and up and down through the forest. It's also one of the historic routes of the Voyagers and of the Ojibwa Indians that still live in this area. So there's a nice sense of history as you're walking on it as well. We have bike trails, both paved and mountain biking, horse trails. In the wintertime, we switch those trails over to groomed cross-country ski trails and then snowshoeing. So a lot of recreational opportunities here in the park. We do sometimes see some whitewater kayakers, but you have to be really good at what you do. The average person, if you don't understand what I mean when I say it's a Class 4 river, you shouldn't be on the river. We have a campground here in the park, everything from drive-in campsites to camper cabins that are open year-round, and even backpacking sites where people will walk in 2 to 4 miles. So again, a lot of different opportunities for people there. I notice a lot of photographers in the park. It's a beautiful park and a lot of different places to go photograph. But I think my favorite part of the park is it's large enough that if you're in the northeast corner of the park, it's going to look very different than the southeast corner of the park because of the geological formations. We have 2 different geological formations here, which contributes many different forest types and many different pieces of terrain. It surprises, I think, people who have never been here before. They don't expect such a rugged terrain here in Minnesota. So if there is any reason to come, it's that rocky riverbed and our hillsides and the ups and the downs and the unexpected.
Sam Roth has been playing guitar since the age of 10. He studied at Berklee College of Music in Boston and enjoys performing throughout the region. Sit back and enjoy some original music from Sam Roth.
Walking under sunshine with nothing on my mind, fossil on my wrist, but I don't need to check the time. I'm doing just fine with no place I need to be. So I continue walking as the diamond shines on me. Oh, and this day is gold, and it warms my soul. And it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining and I found no need to stay. With my darkest nights and a cloudy skies, it's a beautiful day. The diamond in the sky said it was time to walk away. Into a beautiful day. I'm stepping to the tempo set by the rhythm left behind me now. And I could stop and take a breath, but I'm not turning around. Oh, I'm not turning around, no. And if I did, I'd be doing her wrong. For she has freedom now to walk with me. The sunshine is making us strong, and it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining and I found no need to stay. With my darkest nights and a cloudy skies, it's a beautiful day. The diamond in the sky said it was time to walk away. Into a beautiful It's a beautiful day. A beautiful day. And it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining and I found no need to stay. With my darkest nights and a cloudy skies, it's a beautiful day. The diamond in the sky said it was time to walk away. Hey. Into a beautiful day. And open the full screen on my heart and take a look inside. I'd be racing for you in reverse from the start once I reach the finish line. Oh, come out here, baby, my love, you're a misty. Can't take this city on my own. And I know you're busy, but I know you miss me, so take these wishes on the road out to me. When you're all alone, just a drop in the ocean, afraid to go outside. Search for that place that was lost deep inside you, and she is what you will find. Come out here, baby, my love, you're a misty. Can't take this city on my own. And I know you're busy, but I know you miss me, so take these wishes on the road out to me. Come out here, baby, my love, you're missed here. Can't take this city on my own. And I know you're busy, but I know you miss me, so take these wishes on the road out to me, out to me.
If you know of an artist, a topic, or an organization in our region that you think might make for an interesting segment, please contact us at prairiemosaic@prairiepublic.org. I'm Bob Damback.
And I'm Barb Gravel. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Prairie Mosaic.
Prairie Mosaic is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, the North Dakota Council on the Arts, and by the members of Prairie Public.